The West Galactic Council chamber hummed with uneasy whispers, holographic projections shimmering along its domed ceiling. Thousands of alien delegates, each species more exotic than the next, shifted nervously on their floating platforms. The Christian Council president struck the floor with their scepter, sending ripples of light across the hall. A solemn voice echoed through the chamber. Today, we face undeniable evidence. Earth, previously classified as a developing world, now demands reconsideration. The chamber dimmed, and massive holographic displays flared to life. Images rolled out one after the other, turbulent hurricanes battering coastlines while human children flew kites in the gusty wind. Volcanic eruptions spitting rivers of molten lava as tourists posed for selfies. Towering predators prowling jungles as researchers calmly jotted down notes. One scene showed a diver petting a great white shark like a beloved pet. The chamber's collective gasp resonated in harmony, a shiver of disbelief running through the ranks. The council's lead scientist, a shimmering vapor being with multiple translucent tendrils, drifted forward. Their synthesized voice echoed with both wonder and fear. By all galactic standards, Earth should be uninhabitable. Toxic flora, unstable tectonics, apex predators of unimaginable lethality, and atmospheric phenomena capable of obliterating entire regions. The hologram shifted again, this time zooming in on humans laughing in the snowstorm, diving into treacherous waters, and calmly camping under skies rolling with lightning. And yet they thrive. The Christian president pressed forward, their faceted skin reflecting beams of starlight. There is only one conclusion. Earth is. Murmurs erupted, growing louder. Across the chamber, reptilian envoys hissed in agreement. Delegates rubbed their many legs together in alarm. The telepathic energy beings pulsed and flickered in colors of anxiety. The motion for classification was put forth. A floating projection of the vote appeared, glowing numbers ticking upward as delegates cast their decisions. One after another, the votes locked in. A Christian chime resonated through the chamber, unanimous. Earth was officially declared a. A heavy silence fell, broken only by the flickering of ancient star maps rotating gently above them. The Christian president's voice softened. We advise all contact with Earth be avoided until further notice. But before they could conclude, a shrill tone interrupted. A communication alert. The chamber's attention pivoted to the central dais as a holographic peorta shimmered open. Through it stepped a human envoy, her diplomatic uniform impeccably crisp, her posture confident. Behind her floated a small containment carrier, emitting soft vibrations and faint purring. The Christian president narrowed their eyes. State your purpose, representative. The woman smiled. Ambassador Clara Yates, representing Earth. We received your summons. She gestured to the containment carrier. And I've brought a small gift. Confusion rippled through the council. Ambassadors from ancient star empires exchanged wary glances. The carrier's lid slid open with a soft hiss, and out stepped a small, fairy creature. It blinked lazily, stretched, and sat down, tail neatly wrapped around its feet. The chamber was silent. The creature yawned. The ambassador spoke gently. This is Muffin, our apex predator. Gasps of disbelief echoed like thunder across the chamber. The Christian president's voice trembled. This fragile creature survives on the... The cat blinked slowly, meeting the president's multifaceted gaze with utter indifference. An ambassador from the hives leaned forward, their mandibles clicking nervously. The cat padded softly toward them. The entire chamber seemed to hold its breath. Muffin jumped lightly into the ambassador's lap, kneaded their chitinous thighs for a moment, then curled up with a soft purr. The sound reverberated like a warm breeze. The ambassador froze, eyes wide. Tentatively, they reached down with one spindly arm and gently stroked the cat's fur. Muffin purred louder. The ambassador's entire body visibly relaxed, and they emitted a soft, whistling trill, a sign of contentment in their species. A ripple of wonder spread through the council. Delegates began leaning forward, eager to see. The Christine president blinked slowly, speaking in hushed reverence. You live among such dangers, and yet you bring comfort. Ambassador Yates smiled knowingly. We survive because we understand balance. And sometimes, the fiercest hearts are hidden in the smallest bodies. Muffin stretched once more and let out a tiny meow that echoed across the grand chamber. A counselor from the gas giant colonies burst into spontaneous laughter, a sound rarely heard in such solemn surroundings. The Christine president nodded slowly. Perhaps there is more to earth than danger. Murmurs of agreement circled the room. But still, uncertainty lingered. The ambassador simply smiled and said, "This is only the beginning." The council chamber, still abuzz from the introduction of Muffin the cat, began to settle as Ambassador Clara Yates stepped forward once more. The room's immense crystalline walls pulsed with curiosity and tension. Alien delegates shifted, their eyes and sensory organs fixed on the small creature now purring contentedly on the lap of the hive ambassador. The Christine president spoke with caution. Ambassador Yates, you have demonstrated Earth's resilience. But a question remains, how do you coexist with such unpredictability? Clara smiled softly, almost amused. I believe words alone cannot explain. Let me show you. She tapped her wrist communicator, and the chamber's massive holographic projectors flared to life. Scenes unfolded high above them. In vain, a human family sat on the floor of their home, sipping tea as a hurricane raged outside their reinforced windows. The storm's roar was silenced by laughter and conversation. In another projection, scientists in a jungle calmly cataloged venomous plants, a jaguar lounging in the distance, watching but uninterested. There was footage from mountain peaks where humans scaled sheer cliffs, defying gravity with trust in ropes and skill. The chamber fell silent, watching humanity face impossible odds with calm curiosity rather than fear. Then, the footage shifted again. Delegates watched with disbelief as small house cats lounged beside these same humans. One scene showed a climber reaching a summit, only to reveal their feline companion perched smugly in their backpack. Another displayed a rescue team braving floodwaters, while a drenched cat sat on one rescuer's shoulder, glaring at the elements with feline indignation. In one recording, a cat swatted away the paw of a bear sniffing around a campsite, unafraid and defiant. Murmurs turned to laughter. The gas giant delegate pulsed brilliant shades of blue, the color of delight in their species. They are tiny apex predators, when delegate chirped, astounded. The Christine president watched the footage of a human toddler feeding 3 cats as their mother casually read a book nearby, seemingly trusting these creatures entirely. And yet, the president mused, they live among you without fear. Clara allowed the moment to settle before speaking. House cats are perhaps the most earth-like creatures we could present to you. They are playful, curious, brave to the point of foolishness, and fiercely independent. They adapt, they endure, and they demand respect. She smiled. And if you earn their trust, they will sit on your chest and knead your heart like dough. The chamber rippled with amusement and amazement. Suddenly, a soft holographic interface began translating the feline purrs into simple musical notes. Alien delegates leaned forward as the notes began forming patterns. The Christine president's eyes widened. This frequency, it promotes calm in over 90% of known species. Clara nodded. Precisely. Their presence is an evolutionary phenomenon. They soothe, they comfort, and yet they retain the instincts of hunters. The hive ambassador carefully lifted Muffin and placed her on the council floor. The cat took a leisurely stroll, pausing now and then to sniff curiously at alien feet, tentacles, and mechanical appendages. She brushed against the smooth energy form of the Lume delegate, and the being flickered gently, humming in contentment. An ambassador from the frost worlds leaned down, offering Muffin a shimmering ice crystal. The cat pawed it experimentally and sat beside it with regal acceptance. The entire council watched, entranced. Clara continued. Humans do not dominate our world. We live with its chaos and learn to thrive. We respect the power of nature but do not cower from it. Our cats remind us daily. They challenge us, they comfort us, and they teach us humility. She paused. Earth is dangerous, yes. But our strength lies in not bending to fear. We find companionship in creatures who, by all logic, should avoid us yet choose to stay. The Christian president let the silence hang. Finally, they spoke with reverence. You brought us fear, and now you show us trust. Earth defies expectation. More murmurs of agreement echoed through the chamber. Muffin now sat calmly before the dais, looking up at the council with large eyes that somehow commanded attention. Ambassador Clara took a breath. We are not asking you to understand Earth in a day. But know this, the wildness you fear is the same energy that fosters compassion, creativity, and resilience. If you can befriend one of these creatures, she gestured toward Muffin, you are already on your way to understanding us. As the council chamber dimmed slightly, a wave of warm gold light shimmered across the ceiling. The Christian president, after a long pause, gently bowed their multifaceted head. The chamber followed suit. Muffin let out one small chirp, then elegantly began grooming herself, as if she had just negotiated an intergalactic peace treaty. The council chamber sat in stunned silence, the echoes of laughter and curiosity from before fading into an atmosphere of contemplation. The crystalline walls of the chamber dimmed, reflecting soft hues of violet and gold as the next projection shimmered to life above them. A broadcast began, displaying dozens of reports from across colonies where human settlers and their mysterious small companions, the so-called house cats, had been encountered by alien species for the first time. In one clip, a group of towering warriors stood frozen in confusion as a sleek tabby cat casually wove between their armored legs before rolling onto her back and demanding belly rubs. The footage cut to the same warriors later, awkwardly yet gently petting the creature, all better protocols forgotten in the face of her gentle purring. In another scene, on a distant aquatic world, a small calico cat was perched atop the head of an amphibious delegate who spoke through gurgling translators. The amphibian ambassador smiled with what their species expressed as happiness, explaining to the camera that the tiny predator had chosen them, and who were they to refuse such honor. Throughout the footage, a pattern became unmistakable. These creatures, small and unassuming, had disarmed fear, bridged divides, and turned rigid protocol into warmth and camaraderie with nothing more than their presence. Ambassador Clara Yates allowed the chamber to absorb this before speaking. Her voice was gentle, but it carried a certainty that commanded attention. You labeled Earth A. You saw our storms, our predators, our unstable tectonic plates, and you feared us. But you misunderstood. We do not merely survive chaos. We find companionship in it. We bring it close, curl it into our laps, and allow it to purr beside us. At that moment, a delicate holographic interface pulsed from the center dais, translating cat vocalizations into visual light and gentle sounds. Patterns emerged, intricate waves and soothing frequencies. The Christian president's eyes shimmered in awe. It is a symphony of simplicity, they whispered. The gas giant delegate pulsed shades of silver and blue, the colors of Vanden. Muffin, still calmly strolling across the floor, approached the delegation from the Dominion, whence the galaxy's most aggressive force, known for their cold logic and mechanical discipline. The Dominion delegate, a tall and imposing figure with armor plating and glowing red eyes, froze as the tiny creature stopped before them. A tense silence filled the chamber as Muffin sat down, tail flicking vans. The Dominion delegate's red eyes blinked, uncertain. Then, hesitantly, they knelt. Muffin extended one soft paw and gently placed it on the Dominion's knee. A sound not unlike a stifled chuckle rippled through the room as the delegate stiffly raised one hand and scratched behind Muffin's ears. The cat closed her eyes and leaned into the touch, purring loudly. The Dominion delegate exhaled, an unfamiliar sound of release, and then turned to the assembly. I believe, I understand, they said simply. The chamber erupted into soft murmurs of agreement. Clara's smile was warm and knowing. She raised her hand for silence. They are not merely pets. They are reflections of who we are. Brave, foolish, independent, and inexplicably loving. We domesticated something that remains forever wild. We live beside creatures who could scratch or bite without reason. And we love them for it. It is the same with our planet. We coexist with danger, and in doing so, we become stronger, more empathetic, more adaptable. Suddenly, a new projection displayed an Earth classroom filled with children from multiple species, human and alien alike, sitting in a circle as a large, fluffy Maine Coon cat wandered among them. The instructor explained how the presence of cats had been shown to lower stress responses, encourage social bonding, and teach patience and respect for boundaries. A small reptilian child tentatively stroked the cat's back, eyes wide with wonder. The scene was met with smiles from across the council. Clara continued, her voice softer now. We cannot promise a world without risk. But we can promise that we will meet fear with curiosity and aggression with compassion. We do not tame the wild. We make room for it, learn from it, and allow it to teach us humility. Muffin, having done her diplomatic duty, finally settled in the center of the chamber, curling into a perfect ball. The Christian president stood slowly, the council chamber shimmering in acknowledgement. Earth, you have introduced not just a species, but a philosophy. Perhaps it is time we reclassify your world. Not but a world of balance. A place where chaos and comfort exist as one. The chamber glowed with harmonious light. Clara bowed deeply. Muffin opened one eye, gave a small approving chirp, and resumed her nap as the council applauded. Not just for Earth, but for the lesson that had transcended species, logic, and fear. The chamber was hushed in reverent silence as the final projection faded from the cosmic ceiling, leaving only soft ambient light pulsing gently through the crystalline walls. Ambassador Clara Yates remained standing at the center dais, her expression calm and composed. Muffin, the small calico cat that had become the center of galactic attention, remained curled up and dozing contentedly at her feet. But the moment was far from over. Slowly, one by one, the council's delegates began to rise from their floating platforms, not in protest, but in unity. The Christian president stood, their luminescent form shimmering with a pattern of iridescent blues and soft golds, signaling both wonder and acknowledgement. Clara spoke again, her voice softer now, but unwavering. You came to understand Earth as unpredictable, dangerous, filled with wild forces beyond control. But what you've seen today are not accidents of chaos. They are deliberate choices. We could have eradicated the wild things. We could have tamed every storm, locked away every threat. But instead, we chose to live with them, to understand them, to let them teach us resilience, empathy, and coexistence. A gentle murmur rippled through the crowd, subtle but growing. Floating platforms adjusted and turned, their occupants leaning forward with newfound respect. Clara extended her hand slowly toward the Grand Council seat that had long been reserved for Earth, a seat that had remained empty for centuries, cold and silent. The seat now shimmered in soft amber and starlight blue. Slowly, it illuminated, golden beams gently cascading down its sides, casting ripples of light across the polished obsidian floor. The human emblem, an open hand reaching for the stars, pulsed gently on the backrest, alive with light. Clara took a steady breath, her voice lifting. We are not without flaws. We are not without danger. But we bring something to this council that you've seen today, not strength through fear, but strength through understanding. We are the species that welcomes chaos into our homes and gives it a name, feeds it, shelters it, and loves it. We are the species that laughs in the face of unpredictability and dares to coexist. From the far end of the chamber, the delegate from the Dominion rose to full height, armor gleaming but no longer imposing. Their red eyes softened, and they placed one clenched fist over their chest. Earth, we feed your unpredictability. But we have witnessed your discipline through chaos. We stand in support of your place among us. The gas giant Delagat, their body pulsing in waves of iridescent silver, added in their melodic hum. Harmony through contradiction, a concept we struggle to grasp. But you live it. Clara stepped forward, ascending the final steps to Earth's seat. The dais adjusted beneath her feet, and a soft pulse of energy lifted the chair gently into the air, aligning with the other members of the council. The polished floor below her shimmered with light, reflecting both her silhouette and Muffin's relaxed form. The Christian president raised both arms, their voice resonating throughout the chamber, translated in hundreds of tongues at once. The council acknowledges Earth's seat as filled. A quiet moment passed before the chamber erupted, not with noise, but with color. Floating banners unfurled from the walls, bearing the emblems of worlds once weary of Earth, now offering friendship. Across the west chamber ceiling, a new projection materialized, a swirling star map with bright golden lines connecting Earth to countless other worlds, forming fresh alliance pathways that glistened like constellations newly drawn in the night sky. Clara sat down in Earth's seat for the first time, her hands resting lightly on the arms of the chair. She looked down at Muffin, who stretched lazily, blinked up at her, and gave a single contented meow. Across the chamber, laughter rippled like a soft breeze. The Christian president smiled. Earth has taught us that even danger, when approached with understanding, can become comfort. As Clara gazed across the chamber, the gathered delegates began to applaud, each in their own way. Diplomats tapped their forelimbs rhythmically. Reptilian warriors let out low, respectful growls. The gas giant pulsed in soft waves of color. The Dominion's heavy fist struck the ground with solemn respect. For the first time in council history, Earth's presence was not met with caution or fear, but with genuine reverence. Clara spoke one final time. We are honored to join you, not just as survivors of a dangerous world, but as friends who bring the lesson that even the wildest hearts can be embraced. Muffin stood, stretched again, and leapt effortlessly into Clara's lap. The council chamber glowed with golden light as the assembled galaxies acknowledged that Earth, wild, unpredictable, and impossibly compassionate, had finally taken its place among the stars.